Alright guys, so I am going to be done for the day. Didn't really see too much of anything. The only thing that really did anything was Lulu, where I could have taken a couple of those SMB trades. I was especially looking at it right around here, enter in long, kind of consolidates, add more as it breaks up. Most likely would have gotten all out at this point because I know the market at the time was really dropping, so. But I did want to do a monthly recap. I got about 40 minutes here before I really need to start going, and I figured I could probably get mostly everything in. I only took 8 trades this entire month. I typed up a pretty good amount so far. I got a little bit more to go, answer some more questions, and doing this is where I start to see where the mistakes come in and everything, and have to go over my other weekly reviews to see what those were and whatnot. But made $800 this month. I definitely didn't trade really much at all. I don't think I was there for maybe half the days this month. There was honestly a lot going on just outside of trading. Girlfriend had friends over for a weekend. Went to San Diego, took a week off just because I hadn't taken a week off in who knows how long. But let's look like I skipped that week, came back a little bit, and then again only taking 1-2 trades a week. It's just really slow, kind of just the way it is. But on the week I was just 2 for 2. Just yesterday took those couple of trades and didn't handle them that well. But again, it had been a while since I guess I took a trade, so that's just how it was. Definitely the biggest month that I've had in trading thus far. Could have been bigger. Obviously, always more profits to be taken. Always some mistakes that I can work on somewhere, and that's kind of the goal, is to figure out what exactly that is. So I just want to get right to it and start going over the trades. So it looks like May 1st took shop, gap and go down. Only about 0.8 RR on it. So it's definitely one of those ones where the volume is waiting to come into it. Because if I remember right, pre-market volume is 378,000, so I mean it's definitely more than enough to, it's a good indicator that there's going to continue to be volume whenever it comes in. But I put my stop order in right below it. The spread, I seriously just saw the spread was as big as $1.20, but at the same time there's no volume, so once that volume comes in I know the spread tightens. But I do remember getting pretty lucky on this entry, because I mean you can see it's only 7 cents there. That's my limit away from my stop. And, when the spread's that big, getting that lucky and getting that 7 cents is a pretty big deal. So I had 200 shares in, trying to get in at 89. I got filled at 89, which is pretty nice. And then once it starts dropping, it just goes. I was risking about $1, so I wanted to see another $1. And then the circuit breaker pops on it. That's interesting. Maybe that's something that I can notice in the future, is as soon as that circuit breaker popped on this thing, it started struggling, and then you started seeing a bunch of buy-in coming in. That was kind of cool. So we get the circuit breaker, and then it kind of stalls here at this 20, 25, and then you start seeing everybody starts buying. Because I think that's when, I guess that's when people recognize that the circuit breaker hopped in on it, and everybody that was short is covering, and yeah, that's definitely a good spot to recognize that it's time to get out. Alright, so when a circuit breaker appears and you are short, get out, especially if others are also getting out. Alright, well that was the biggest trade I ever had, and not lucky, it's just size. I mean, it's just what you get, it's just a number. So next trade was NXPI, another gap and go short. Still having that candle issue. Okay, so where are we at? Another 1-to-1 as usual. Made 178 on it. Total risk reward was 120, so it went a little past it. My stop is, where am I at? Dollars at risk is 150, so my size was a little small on this one, risking about 40 cents. What's going on? That's definitely something that I learned this month, is that the best gap and go trades involve pre-market lows or highs. So it's struggling to get below this area. Really wish I could tell what that first candle looked like, because I know it doesn't look like what it's showing me. Get the break. Seeing some big numbers on the bid. It's a little slow, it's kind of struggling. Pops up, but not enough for me to close out the position and try and re-enter. And once that bid drops, then it just really starts dropping. Get to 93, there's a bunch of buyers there. Break 93. Still buyers there, and then it pops back a lot on that case. Okay, what happened? Alright, so once it starts moving back up, I'm just completely out then. As it failed at that 92, or 93, because 93 was holding once it broke underneath it, and then it set a really good place for my stop loss if it broke above 93. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm staying in this trade, because whenever you see those big numbers, chances are, more than likely, more often than not, that it does end up breaking them. And as it broke, I got out of 12, pretty decent exit. I think something that I need to do is, because I had this problem a lot, is I need to take even smaller partials. Because you can see in this case, I took my first partial at 93.11, and I mean, this thing, you know, it just kept dropping. I mean, more often than not, in any of these trades that I'm in, even on that shop trade, I took that really early partial just to try and take some off. And, you know, you always wish you had the biggest size for most of the moves. So I think instead of taking a fifth or a fourth off, I might have to do like a sixth or an eighth. Or maybe it really should be 50 shares, no matter what size it is. Just take 50, take 50, 50, 50, 50. Alright, VRX, the biggest loser of the month. This was the trade where I took my small loss, but I should have re-entered as it made a move higher. This was whenever I had that first issue. This is also the one where I was telling myself I need to be careful because it is right at pre-market highs, and you know it can always be a fake break. But I'm long at 17, and then it just pulls right back immediately. And you know, most of these trades don't pull back that much that quickly. So if it does, you know, it's always something that I need to be aware of and looking out for. So I really don't have a problem getting out of the trade, but I need to immediately go right back and put that order back in at that 20. I mean, you can just see those huge numbers on the ask. Start showing up. We got 23, 27, 29, 33, 23, and then as it moves up higher, you can just see those huge numbers, and they're just all taken out, just gone like that. Definitely missed a good trade. So that was the problem there. That one should have been a loss, but then I should have made that money right back. Next trade was Walmart on a bearish engulfing. If I remember right, that's a pretty good trade. So this was a strange one because I remember telling myself before this trade even happened, if it does this and this and this, then I want to make sure that I'm in this trade, and it really did exactly this, that, and that. So I always want to see it break through and then come back for a small retest and enter it on that small retest. So here's that retest as it broke through, because it closed underneath VWAP, and then it just really sets up, you know, as it's failing to move higher like this, it just gives you a really good indication that this bearish engulfing could be have a good follow through after it. So I put my order in at that new low, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Let's get into the trade. Risking 26 cents to try and make 22 cents. So it looks like my stop is right above this. You know what? This is another one where I could have made my stop loss a lot tighter, because you can see the 9 and the 20 are coming down on it. If you got a good break on it like it does here, you know, these are going to drop even further. So I could have realistically made my stop loss like 10 cents or something. Another way to make more money, using bigger size, but still following your rules, following your risk management. So I want to see it in the low 60s. There it is. So I'm taking some off. Taking some more off. And then I realized that that's there. And that might come into play. And it kind of did. You can see it kind of tapped it and bounced off. It's just another situation where if I'm taking smaller partials, it works out in my favor. I don't know what is going on with VLC lately. It just doesn't want to load fast anymore. So this is another situation where, this can turn into a longer term hold trade, and this is just a spot that I could add. But I don't add, and I think it was a good call. Because I don't think it continued much lower. Well, it did, but yeah, it really did. So what I could have done is added in that 50 area right here, waited for another consolidation. So at this point, it gives you a new high to look out for. See it staying underneath that 20, and then it kind of consolidates. At this point, this is kind of where I might get a little iffy. But it was a decent trade. It's just another case where I can take smaller partials and still be fine throughout the trade. Just a way to make more. So then we got Excel, $63 winner on a gap and go down. This was that weird one where I just panicked and clicked the wrong button at the wrong time. So remember, there was a hidden buyer at that 50. We broke underneath the 50 and it came right back. And that hidden buyer was still there at 50. So I told myself, this could be a pretty bad short squeeze if it gets up there because it is a circuit breaker. That's much easier for it to go up than it is down. So if it gets above that 51, I need to get out of this trade. I just totally panicked. I didn't have enough time to really reassess the situation and try and get another order in as quick as I could. And just another case where could have made more money. I think one thing I need to really convince myself is that I need to hold on to trades a little longer, and that partials need to be smaller. Seriously, and all these winning trades that I've had so far, if I just held on a little bit longer, it's just more money to be made. So Lowe's was the first unusual buyer and seller trade that I took, that I learned it needs to be a scalp. These trades aren't exactly buy and hold trades because I'm basing it off of one buyer or seller, and more often than not they tend to have a nice little pop or squeeze or drop or some pretty significant move after they're gone. So I started noticing here at 92.50 that there's a hidden seller there, and it can go either way. So I got 250 shares trying to get long. I think I made my risk. It was any of these first trades that I take, I'm kind of learning the rules as I go and as I make mistakes going through them. $42 loss is fine. I'll take that loss any day to learn what I learned on it. So I was risking 50 cents to try and make about 50 cents. When really I only have to risk, a down tick, or not even half of what I was doing, 20 cents. But it looks better and better whenever you keep looking. Come on. So we get that really nice pop. You can see all the green flooding in, all the highlighted green, people buying on the ask, and you just get that really nice squeeze, And then boom, as soon as you start seeing a weakness, just get out. It's a scalp. So as soon as I start seeing a pullback, come on, what is going on? 80, getting boom, and then you're out right there. And that's close to a 20-cent win. I mean, it's a scalp. It's exactly what it is. This is like a true scalp. This is as short and fast as possible. It's kind of a breakout trade, but I don't think that it's going to be a breakout into a trend or nothing. So I'm not trying to hold on for a retest or something to see if it's going to move higher, unless it's an unusual buyer seller combined with some other strategy, which in Lowe's case it almost kind of was, because it's close to an opening range play, it's close to a VWAP bounce, it's close to an SMB trade even. It's just sitting above the 90 MA and the VWAP here, and it fails to make new lows as it goes higher. So in that case, it might not have been a bad idea to hold on for a little longer, I hope. So I did end up going back to it. Yeah, you can see it just kind of grinds a little higher. Not the best, but also would have worked in that situation. And then the trades that I just took yesterday on Dollar Tree, and I took my first SMB trade on it. So I remember it was a pretty good opening range breakdown. Also added Lightspeed's cool, what are they called? Order points, I guess. In this case, it's a dot. I know Dodge Trader has the arrows. I mean, this is a really good looking setup. We're breaking underneath the pre-market lows. It's an opening range play. You just try and get right underneath it, and it definitely looks like it wants to go a lot lower. That price action is really clean on this. It just looks really good. It's definitely a trade that I should take every time. The only problem is that it is a circuit breaker. So I just gotta be a little careful on the timing. But as soon as I see that 57, I'm in the trade. So I guess I was a little slow maybe. So I got a 50. I probably could have gotten in a 53. But I mean, it makes a really nice move immediately. Come on. I took a partial a little early because I didn't expect it to make that quick of a move that far. So I wanted to take a little bit of risk off just in case it pulled back really quick. And these opening range plays also are ones that I do need to be holding on for a retest, because these are ones that turn into trade to hold trades. I think another thing that I want to experiment with is only taking partials into my trade, not against my trade. Because on this trade, as soon as I get this, you're going to see this tiny little pullback here, and I just exit completely on that little pullback. Same thing, opening range play is one that I need to be holding on to. I mean, I was the guy that got out at that top tick. Killing me, VLC. Yeah. I mean, it turned right back around and just made more lows. See, it kept going and going and going, and then I ended up taking my first MDGL was actually another missed trade opportunity because it was a good opening range play. It was good ABCD up here, but it was the volume that killed me. I didn't want to mess with it really. Dollar Tree ended up being my first SMB trade that I took. Super solid setup, really nice opening drive down. Kind of a little bit of consolidation once the 9 and the 20 caught up with it. Failed to move higher. You can see it kind of struggle a little bit with this 85, so I mean it set up a really nice entry to get in underneath it. And then you hold and let the market tell you where your new stop losses are, and this was it. So we got down to this 84. I was trying to get it to 82.50 all the way down there because that was the next daily point. Let me see, it's 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts, 4 attempts, and then you can see it pretty clear that this is the spot to have your stop loss, and then after that it just grinded higher back to VWAP and whatnot. So the S&B trade was definitely pretty good. It's a lot more common to see the S&B trades, I guess, than any of these other ones that I've been taking, just because you see a strong move down and all it is just something like this, and that's all you need to be able to take one of these trades, and the rest is just letting it go, following the market, following the internals, and kind of going from there. So decent review session, I guess. I did this one. It's a pretty small one, but I did it just because I want to see the mistakes again that happened. So what do I got? When a circuit breaker appears and you are short, get out, especially if the other buyers come in and you start seeing a lot of green on the time and sales. I need to start taking smaller partials even now. I'm usually been going, take a fourth off, take a fifth off, but in pretty much all of these trades, if I just took smaller partials, I would still have majority size because my trades go further than I think they do in my favor. With this Dollar Tree, it was an issue of a profit target. Well, not even so much profit target, but because I was trying to get $1 out of it on the first trade, and it came close, but it didn't quite get there. And that's just something that I need to be okay with, is holding on until it gets to my profit target, no matter how much it's going to whip around in there. Re-enter in on the gap and go trades if I get stopped out and it wants to make a new high or low. It's too trigger happy on taking partials. Unusual buyer and seller is a scalp trade, not a trade to hold trade. And only take partials into my trade, not against it, is going to be one of my new goals that I want to try this next month. I don't want to be covering as it goes against me. I want to be covering as it goes in my favor. Alright, so decent review session. I'm going to type this thing up. I've got a little bit more stuff to do, I guess. And then I'll be back on Monday. Thanks for watching.